Rob, what's good, homie?
Mike, PBA season might be over, but Sweep the Rack doesn't stop here. We got a great interview we're going to bring to the people today, and excited about it.
Bonus Sweep the Rack. We told the people we're taking a little bit of vacation, but we're going to leave them. We're going to leave them with a little something while we're gone, so they're not too upset at us.
Yeah, and while we're on break, we're going to be definitely giving people something new to watch when we're not being live, as a new bowling channel went live to 24-hour bowling coverage, and we're going to be interviewing Brendan Canning, the co-founder and creator of this bowling channel. So it's going to be really exciting. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and we mentioned it on the pod a couple times over the last few weeks because, it came up and, obviously people in the chat, it was something that was being discussed. And, we decided to welcome them on and get the background on this. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Rob, like if this was 1993 and this came out, I don't know if I'd leave the house. I don't know if I'd leave the house, quite frankly. A 13-year-old Big Mike would have been dead locked on this channel. Okay. So yeah, I know. And still today, I mean, obviously I say that because I don't have as much time today to sit down and view bowling shows as I used to. But what I know is that there's people out there that are really passionate about the sport and passionate about watching the sport. Right. So when we heard that there was a 24-hour, bowling content channel, definitely caught our interest and, brought me back to my younger days of spending a lot of time watching bowling. Like, for people that don't know, there were people on the JBT tour who would trade tapes, who would trade bowling tapes, like VHS tapes. For all you young bucks out there who've never seen a VHS tape, it's a big, thick black cassette, and you put it in something called a VCR, and you could record live TV. That's the only way you could record live TV back in the day. And then on the JBT tour, there were several people. Glenn Watson, you remember Glenn Watson, the lefty?
I do.
My man had the deepest collection of bowling tapes ever. And yeah, we used to trade tapes and watch old shows, things like that. So again, something that is like right up my alley. So
this is bad for me in the fact that I work from home 2 days a week, and I'm kind of watching bowling when I'm working. So my work production has kind of went down a little bit. But I was watching today the France bowling promotion tour ladder. It was the mixed doubles, and I'm like, this is awesome. I was just like we're bowling guys and we love bowling, so it's cool to be able to just turn it on and be like, I wonder what's on right now. And I'm just like, oh my God, there's a match that went down to the 10th frame. It was pretty cool. So it was definitely something that unless Bowl TV is on and there's a tour, which is not on anymore. And obviously Bowl TV still has streaming with the seniors and the women, but now I know I can get bowling really whenever I want. So yeah,
no doubt. All right, let's bring Brendan on and let's get into it. So we want to welcome Brendan Canning. Welcome to Sweep the Rack.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's start by giving our listeners your background. We know that you were at ESPN and worked at ESPN, so obviously some chops in the sports media game.
Yeah, I was at ESPN for 12 years. I was in their distribution group, which basically meant that so I was in a group that did all the affiliation agreements with Comcast, DirecTV, Dish, all the cable operators, that sort of thing. So spent 12 years there, learned a lot about sports media, learned a lot about the media business in general. It was a great place to sort of learn a lot about what we're doing today, quite frankly, and that's where from there I left in 2012, and then joined a company called Silver Chalice Ventures, which is a digital media company owned by Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Bulls and the White Sox. Spent a bunch of years there trying to figure out sort of the intersection of sports and digital media. And then we ended up creating a new 24/7 channel called Stadium, which ultimately was sold to Sinclair Broadcasting. And that led me to sort of around 2020, 2021. And this is when sort of this evolution or this new concept of free ad-supported television began to emerge, basically. And what that meant was that there was new platforms that were being developed, such as Pluto TV, Samsung TV Plus, the Roku channel, where people were canceling their pay TV subscriptions. I wonder if you guys have pay TV subscriptions. Maybe you do. But they were canceling their pay TV subscriptions, but they still wanted an experience on the big screen in their living rooms. They still wanted that regular sort of normal television experience that you don't necessarily get just by watching video on your phone, right? So my partner and I, Anthony Bailey and I, Anthony is also a veteran of ESPN. We got back together around 2020, 2021, and started trying to think of ways in which we could sort of take advantage and use our experience in sports media and match it up with this new fangled, media world that we're living in today. And we felt that there was an opportunity to bring sports channels, 24/7 sports channels that were dedicated to fans that were just super serving a fan base to these new platforms. And so for the last 5 years or so, we've been executing on that vision, and happy to say that at the end of 2025 we launched Bowling TV, and that's the long story about how we got here, but that's how we got here.
No, that's an awesome story of how you guys got here. My follow up to that is so that's Triple B Media then.
Yep.
Okay. And then where did you guys start in the sports world? I mean, as you said, now you're getting into bowling, but where did Triple B Media start in terms of that experience?
So we've had several shows. So today we have about 6 or 7 channels in our portfolio that we own and operate. Our most successful, I'd say, channel to date, and it's our longest running channel, is our Billiard TV channel, right?
Okay.
So we started that in 2021, and I will tell you that it's been the first few years of that were challenging, and the reason why was because the platforms that we're essentially trying to go out and convince these platforms that they need a 24/7 billiards channel, and who really needs a 24/7 billiards channel, right? Well, the numbers proved it, right? The numbers the data proved it in our analytics, that a lot of people wanted to watch professional pool players, and what we found is that once they found our channel, they spent a lot of time on those channels. And what we learned was that in the theory that we came up with was that everyone has played pool, right? Everyone has played pool in their life. So our whole thesis, as I mentioned, Mike, was that we want to super serve a fan base. And the same is true with bowling. Everyone is bowled. Everyone's gone out on a date. They've gone to a bowling center, whatever it is. They've all bowled, right? Whether it's duck pin, whatever it might be. And so what we're finding with bowling in the success that we're having with Bowling TV is really what we saw over the first few years of Billiard TV. But now that we've sort of proven our theory out with billiards, now we're able to really go to our partners, our distribution partners, and say, hey, what we did over here with billiards, what we did over here with cornhole, because that's another one of our channels, that's what we're doing again, and replicating the same model but now it's just in a different sport in bowling.
Okay, and you mentioned free ad-supported TV, right? Can you explain to our listeners, what that is?
Yeah, sure. So it's a pretty self-explanatory concept. It's free. It is ad-supported, and so the way that we make our money is by advertising. So back in the day, where you would subscribe to Comcast or to DirecTV, you might pay $50 to $100 or more for a pay TV subscription. With what we're doing, most of the distribution platforms that we're on are free to the end consumer. So you literally just need, in the case of LG, right? If you have a LG television set, they have a service called LG Channels. You just click on the app called LG Channels, and then excuse me, and then we're one of the couple of hundred channels that are there.
All right. Yeah, that's interesting to me because I was wondering when I saw the press releases and everything. One of my thoughts was, all right, well, where are they generating revenue from?
Yeah.
And yeah, I had never heard of that acronym FAST before, and I did a little reading up on it, and I thought, okay, yeah, that makes complete sense. So you guys have partnered with the USBC,
right?
Okay, can you talk about that partnership a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that we do when we start a channel like billiards or bowling, we like to partner with experts in the space. Number one, they need to be experts. Number two, they need to have a lot of content. And so what we've done with our billiards channels, we partnered with one of the big pool manufacturers, Q. They make cues, balls, etc. Same thing in the bowling space, where we went to the USBC. We kind of pitched them on this idea of creating a 24/7 channel that would be complementary to what they do on Bowl TV, and they are the experts. They really sort of guide us through the world of bowling, and then in addition to that, they've supplied us with hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of content that we program on our channel 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and so that's really the basis of it. They've been great to sort of help us navigate through the bowling world. In addition to that sort of core strategic partnership that we have with the USBC, we also go out and we get other content as well. But we like to start with that sort of core basic partner first, because we know television, they know bowling, and it's hopefully it's a match made in heaven.
So my follow-up question to that, Brendan, is are we considering, or have we talked to the PBA or Bolero yet in regards to maybe partnering with them? Because I would imagine the PBA specifically has a lot of good old footage and new footage and current footage that 100%. They maybe be able to help you spread like that those shows. So has there any been talks or consideration with them?
Yeah, we'd love to partner with the PBA. Obviously, they have their own media rights deal that they're involved with today. But yeah, we've had those discussions. We continue to have those discussions, and we'll see where it goes. What I always tell people when we're discussing bowling TV or any one of our channels, especially when it's a new channel like this, is I try to tell people what the vision of the channel is, right? And what we want to do with bowling TV is, again, and I keep using these words over and over again, but we really mean it, is to super serve that fan base. You talked, Mike, about that 13-year-old kid, that would love to watch bowling 24 hours a day. That's sort of what we want to do. We want to super serve that kid. And so what I tell people is, what you see today on the channel is not what you're going to see on the channel a year from now. It's evolving. It's going to be different 5 years from now, 2 years from now. It's always going to evolve. Hopefully it evolves better. Hopefully we have more and more live events that we bring to the channel. Excuse me. And so, yeah, I mean, all those discussions, Rob, are being had, and we who knows what's going to happen with them. I can't predict them. I really honestly don't know, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, Mike, let me jump in real quick here because I have a follow-up to that, because I see this vision. I'm kind of a big picture guy. Sometimes I look at the big picture further than I look at the small picture, and I know that that could be bad sometimes when you're trying to accomplish things. But I see bowling TV as one of those type of outlets where you walk into a bowling pro shop, right? And the pro shop has TVs, right? Every pro shop these days, I think, has a TV.
Yeah.
Or you walk into a Bolero on a Sunday morning, right? When there's nothing really going on and there's no like really major NFL or baseball, whatever, and there's bowling on TV. And I think the PBA and I think Bolero, they miss an opportunity to really promote bowling, because they don't show bowling, like even when the PBA is on, like live, they don't show bowling. So like for me, there's a really good opportunity here for the Boleros and local proprietors out there, if you guys are listening out there that own bowling centers or managers, where you could put bowling TV on your channel and never have to worry about it. There's bowling going to be on all the time, and I feel like bowling should be on in a bowling center.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I'll tell you, if any of your listeners, viewers out there are, proprietors, and they'd like to, have that conversation with us, we'd love to have it.
No doubt. Yeah, bowling. And I'll say it's probably gotten a little bit better over the last few years, but I feel like bowling coverage, especially going in the recent past, has been very fragmented. You agree with me, Rob? Like
different channels.
You have a lot of different people doing a lot of different services and things, and then you have YouTube and social media and what's going on there, and you're definitely like I felt like pulled in a lot of different directions in terms of trying to get bowling content, good bowling content anyway, and I will say that Bowl TV, like being that the PBA came under Bowl TV and now they're under the same umbrella, that has definitely improved things a bit and made it a little bit easier. But I definitely agree with what you said, Brandon, about super servicing this passionate fan base, right? And that's what made me think about the fragmentation of what we've done in the past in the bowling world in terms of covering things, because at one time you might have to go to 3 different places if you wanted to watch these 3 different major levels of bowling, right? And yeah, that's tough, and people aren't really going to do that. And you also made me think about college bowling.
Oh, yeah, we have some.
Yeah, there's a lot of parents and there's a lot of people out there that would love to watch regular coverage of college bowling and things of that nature. So and streaming is so easy today. Right. So yeah, they're already doing it on Facebook or on YouTube, but to be able to bring that into a place where people know they can go and see what they want to see, yeah, it's definitely something that I think the bowling world could use a little bit more of.
Yeah, and we're actually really excited about the college space in particular. That's one of the areas that we want to dive deeper into, because it's exciting. Like they're not inhibited. They're if you watch some of these players, especially the women players, they're just very excited, and even after a miss, they're high-fiving and everything, and you're like, right?
Brendan, you need to watch us when we were in college.
Oh man, you should come and be a regular co-host on this show. Seriously, I mean, what you're saying is what we preach around here, just constantly. Like, but listen, we love the PBA. We love PBA bowling. We love watching professional bowling. But man, it can be tough sometimes. It can be tough sometimes with the lack of personality, the lack of enthusiasm.
Emotion, character, personalities. I mean, I can just go down
all the things you mentioned, all the things that college bowling brings to the table that PBA bowling at the current time, lacks somewhat, depending on who we're talking about.
But team bowling is definitely different, though. Team bowling has a better atmosphere. Even PBA, when they have their team, their leagues, their PBA leagues, it definitely brings more excitement. Yeah. College, I mean, I'm an ex-college bowler. Mike's an ex-college bowler. And it was so much fun to be part of those matches and watching matches too that we weren't a part of.
Yeah, right.
Bakers and so.
Right. We also have content from Matchroom in the UK, and they produce really exciting, compelling content as well. And it's just, I come at it from a TV perspective, from a TV production, background. Before we came on, you guys were asking me whether I'm a bowler or not. I'm not. I don't bowl every week. I come at it from the point of view of a TV production. Is it exciting? Is it well produced? Is it good lighting? Those are the types of things that I look at. And that's really what I'm interested in. Is I want to see the emotion. I want to see someone, just have, unfortunately, sometimes they don't. The game doesn't end well, but I want to see that emotion. To me, that's good television, right? And that's what I'm trying to produce.
So I gotta ask, Brendan, are you familiar with any of the PBA history of some of the biggest moments, right? Of the most.
Got to be familiar with the who are you? I am. Who hasn't seen that? I mean,
yeah, I was thinking more of the Randy Peterson, Ernie Schlegel, we always talk about that finish. And I don't know if you're familiar with that finish, but to me, that's one of the greatest finishes in PBA history, where Randy gets a stone 8, and then Ernie is running around the crowd yelling Muhammad Ali, and he's
high-fiving. Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, we don't see enough of that.
Randy collapses in a fetal position on the approach and curls up and dies right in front of you. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's great television.
It was. It was it was such great television. I could still tell you that I was in Jim Louie's living room when that took place. I still know where I was. I could probably tell you we were eating pizza and wings. I mean, you're right. It leaves an impression on you for sure. You guys seem at Triple B seem to be focused on niche sports.
Yeah.
Cornhole, bowling, billiards are a few that I saw when I did some of my research. I think I know what your answer is going to be here because you already spoke about it, but is it because those sports have those fan bases?
They're underserved. And that's really the bottom line, is that they're underserved fan bases. Some people look at that word niche as a negative. I don't necessarily look at it as negative. I think, these fan bases are very passionate about their sport. And that's what we're trying to do here. Is just, there's bowling in particular, not so much billiards when we first came out with billiards, but bowling in particular, it's a proven television sport, right? It has done well over the years on television. We're just trying to replicate that. We know that people want to watch it, whether it's the core fan like you guys or your listeners and viewers, or if it's somebody like me who's more of an average fan. So we're trying to serve both of those fan bases, but it's definitely that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Okay.
So I got a question then, Brendan, because this is something we talk about consistently. You talk about bowling and a lot of people watching and the ratings doing pretty good to a certain extent. In your opinion, why is then the PBA falling short of really landing big sponsors to bring in a lot of big money into the PBA?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Rob, and I'm not I don't know. I don't. Okay. That's their business. I don't really sort of want to go down their business tonight, but all I can say is that for us, I can only speak to us. That's all I can speak to. We've had some interest from sponsors already about what we're doing with Bowling TV, and so where those lead, who knows? But again, we're right now we're focused on audience development, more distribution, making sure people like you and your fans and your viewers know that we exist and where to go to watch it. That's really our focus now. Revenue generation, sponsorships, that sort of thing will come down the road, we're sure.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, no question. Absolutely. It seems like you guys are generating revenue from your advertising, and you just said there are advertisers interested. I got to be honest, it surprises me. It surprises me that there's people out there that need a 24-hour billiards channel or a 24-hour bowling channel. What gave you guys the idea that there was that need to service that?
Well, I think if I look back on it in terms of like how we formed Triple B Media and what we were thinking at the time, maybe we were crazy, but what we were thinking at the time was, unlike back in the pay TV days when bandwidth was limited, and what that ultimately meant was that there was a limitation on the number of channels that you could have. There is no limitation now, right? The only limitation that there is now is whether a platform such as Amazon Prime or LG or whoever, whether they want to have 300, 500 channels on their user interface. That's really the only thing. So I think if we look back on it in terms of when we were starting this business out, we just felt that that we could make a really, really good case of, again, super serving that fan, and that we knew that we could make a case that these sports were sports that people wanted to watch, that had a fan base already, and that all they needed was sort of this hub, if you will, for billiards or for bowling or whatever it is, and that we created that hub. We created that space for people to go to watch their sport. Sometimes it's hard to believe that someone, all the millions of people that watch our billiard TV channel in a month, that's easy to dismiss. But our analytics that we get every day from our platform partners prove that out, right? So that's what we were able to do with our billiards channel, and that's what we believe, and we're on the path to do it with bowling as well. So maybe it was crazy, Mike, that we came up with the idea to do it, but it was really, and that's a little bit of a long-winded answer, and I'm not sure if I totally answered it properly or not, but it was more of a case of sort of analyzing where we all were collectively within the media environment at that time, and that we knew that we could bring our sports media background to this newfangled way of distributing content, and the emergence of all these new platforms, and kind of marry that together. I don't know.
And listen, I love that answer, and I didn't know what you were going to say. I didn't know
either. I didn't know either what I was going to say.
Part of me felt like, did you see something while you were ESPN, involving particular niche sports, like I mentioned before, and say, okay, well, like, we know they're being underserved because what we're seeing here? Or was it you saw the passion on the side of these things and said, okay, look at the numbers they're getting, et cetera. We take that, but it makes total sense that it was about the change in media. I mean, we're living in a world right now where everything is changing. You mentioned before about people cutting the cable cord. I did the same thing when I moved into my house. I had DirecTV because I wanted NFL Sunday Ticket.
Right.
I wasn't living in the state of the team of which I'm a fan. I wanted to watch football. As soon as YouTube TV took it over, I cut DirecTV and I went with YouTube TV. Yeah. So there's a lot of change going on right now, and I think it was somewhat visionary on your guys' part to see that and kind of say, okay, this is something that we can work with and we can do. I mean, most people, I would think that had those types of ideas were going to go to YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's so. Yeah, to kind of take that and change that around and make, and like you said, like you mentioned, make a home for some of these sports is it's a smart idea. I appreciate that thinking, and like I said, your answer was great there because it really gives the insight of what you guys were looking at.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right that a lot of people would have gone to YouTube. I see that as a home, and that is a destination for millions and millions of people a day. But the opportunity that we saw was with these platforms. They were not getting into sports. They had a lot of movie channels. They had a lot of entertainment channels. They would have, they would play, one channel would play Friends all day long.
Okay.
And those channels did great, by the way.
Sure.
But what they weren't getting into was sports, right?
Okay.
And the opportunity for us was that they all wanted to get into sports, but they knew they weren't going to get the NFL. They knew they weren't going to get and the NBA. So the sports that we were able to bring them was sort of scratch that itch for them.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, as I said before, I'm a pretty big picture type mentality, and I like to think 3, 5, 10 years down the road. That's just how I am. Obviously, you brought up earlier that you focus right now on audience and growing the audience and getting the word out, which I completely understand. Marketing is such a big deal at this point, and it's such an expense on companies, and they don't really know what they're getting back from the marketing either. So it's social media makes it easy now, right, for media to be able to market. My question is where do you see bowling TV like evolving 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road? Do you see it maybe hosting tournaments or being its own kind of like, hey, like bowl TV presents, so forth open, having your own streaming, like, where do you see this thing going?
Yeah, I think that all of the above, right? So I'd like to see us, being sponsors of tournaments. I'd like to see us producing our own content, perhaps. I'd like to see us be a true home where bowling fans turn to if they want to get their fix, right? If you want to, Mike, if your 13-year-old self was going back home and he's flipping on the television, I want him to flip bowling TV on because he knows he's going to get something, right? Again, what you see today is a good product. What you're going to see, a year from now, 3 years from now, could be completely different. I'd like to see us do more and more live events, right? That's ultimately what I want us to get into is more live events. I like, like as I said, I want us bowling TV to be the home of those events.
Is there opportunity? And me and Mike are big sports bettors, right? We like sports betting. We talk about odds on bowling matches. Bet Rivers is a local app that's now in a few states that cover bowling for betting. And me and Mike have done well. We've done bad. We always talk about our kind of roller coaster of a ride we have with these parlays and God knows what other things we've lost. But is there, being that you guys will stream live events, is there a thought of like, okay, how do I get into that game where I get people who, if they want to bet on a match, they can turn on your streaming and be able to watch a match live and make money or lose money? Probably lose, but
lose. I mean, listen, it's certainly something that we've thought about. Where we land on that thinking, I don't know. But I think that generally speaking, we understand that the sports fan is going in that direction, and we know it, we hear it, we see it. We do our own betting. I don't know. The answer is I don't know, but it's something that we certainly have discussed, and would really like to go down that rabbit hole.
So I'll tell you from bowlers, Mike. Let me from bowlers, right? This is coming from bowlers. Bowlers love to gamble. We are a gambling mentality. Leagues, gambling, pots, brackets, league money. There's fun leagues, right? Even the fun leagues gamble. They have card games. So if
there's bowling going on,
I'm giving you advice here.
That's pretty much it.
All right.
I want to ask this, and I don't know if you'll know the answer to this or not, Brennan, but is there like certified betting on billiards?
We don't have it on our billiards channel, no.
Okay, but do you know, like, if I go on DraftKings, do you know if I can bet on billiards?
I believe you can.
I'm going to look right now on Bet Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if I was looking that up already, if I knew that already, it probably says I have an issue, being that I don't ever play billiards. But nonetheless, yeah, I agree with Rob. I think I preach that a lot on this podcast, that gambling is bowling's way to bigger prize funds, better salaries for the players, more opportunities. I think that's something that we need to tap into. I brag on this show a lot that I give great ideas around here. Rob gives great ideas around here. We're always giving great ideas away for free. So I'm going to give you a great idea.
All right, and after you give me a great idea, I have a question for you guys.
Okay, all right. I have a listen, and it speaks to the gambling. It speaks to the gambling nature of bowling. If you want to produce content for your channel, Okay.
Yep.
The direction you guys should first go in should be to host some action matches.
Okay.
Host some Rob. Do I
Some
have your attention now?
Unfiltered action.
Do I have your unfiltered action match? Now, action matches are two. It could be one-on-one, could be doubles, right? I mean, you could even make it triples or more if you want, but traditionally it's either singles or doubles, I would say. Would you agree with that, Rob?
Yeah, it's normally
so
one-on-one doubles.
It's traditionally one-on-one or two-on-two, and it's the two parties agreeing to bowl for a certain amount per game. And there might be other stipulations. It might be we have to bowl X amount of games, or there's something called a freeze out, which is somebody has to win a certain amount of games before it's over. Sometimes you just bowl and you have to give one game notice as to when you're going to quit. So that's another way that they do it. Traditionally, the money is put up by the bowlers themselves.
Right.
And it can still be that way. I mean, even in action, there's side action. So even if there's a pool of money that's being put up by some sponsor or advertising revenue or whatever it is, right? The bowlers themselves and the bowlers at home can still be involved in the action in some way. And honestly, it is the purest and most entertaining form of bowling that Rob and I have ever been a part of or witnessed. If we had TV cameras at some of the legendary action matches that me and Rob have witnessed with our two eyes, I mean, it's
viral.
just gold. It's viral gold because it just brings something out, not only in the competitors but in the crowd, and there's just a certain vibe to it. So
that's pretty cool.
I dropped that for you.
It's a good one, actually. And so, do you have to watch? Who do you want to watch as players in that?
Amateurs bowling pros.
I have so many ideas. I mean, for me, see, you're right, Rob. Like, I don't think it can be the pros. I really don't.
Pros.
Because, I don't know.
Normally, it's going to be amateurs. It's going to be amateurs.
Yeah, I want to see amateurs. I want to see. I think what you guys would have to do is you would have to tap into where are you guys based out of? New York? No, Connecticut. Connecticut. Okay.
Oh, you're right there.
You're in a great area.
Worldwide of action.
Here's what you could do. You could hit up Big Mike. You could hit me up, and I could use my connections to arrange a match between two great amateurs who are going to bring a lot to the table. But that's really what you would have to do. You'd have to tap into a local area, and find two guys. Find somebody who knows the players in that local area, and find two guys who are probably not big fans of each other. Find two guys where bowling for, and I don't want to make assumptions here, but I'm assuming, like we're bowling for $1,000 a game, or something like that. It's going to matter to them. Okay.
So okay, hold on. So we're gonna do this for the audience here because I'm gonna go down because all right. So $1,000 is on the line.
A game per game.
A game.
Right.
Now, but is there any side action during the game?
There could be.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So here's what I would imagine as let's say we get
and you're just doing the smack talk back and forth.
Yes. Like we mic up the bowlers area. We mic them up. We want to hear everything. We want to hear the smack talk. We want to hear the frustration come out of them. We want to hear all that, right? But say you have an advertiser, right? And obviously this is an advertising thing for you guys. But let's say we have a pool of 5,000. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to bowl a 5-game action match where the advertising dollars are putting up the 5,000 to bowl that 1,000 a game, and either player A or player B is going to win it. But on top of that, the players might decide to put something up, or the people at the bowling center might decide to put money up. Now, again, there's legal stuff here, I'm sure, et cetera. So, maybe that's not something we want to show on TV. But nonetheless, that's going to bring out the vibe in the crowd.
Into too many details, Mike.
Okay, I got it. I'm just trying to paint the picture. I'm just trying to paint the picture. And yeah, listen, I'm just telling you that would be a great product.
That is a great. I'm very curious about that product. I think that could be really interesting.
Yeah.
My question to you was going to be, what would you, if you had 24 hours a day, 7 days a week as your bowling canvas, what would you program in there? But that
I have
sounds
a few
like
ideas. I got a few ideas too. obviously old PBA matches, vintage 80. If I turn on the TV and 86 AC Delco Classics on, I'm gonna watch.
I'm sitting
right?
there. Yeah.
You have some maybe vintage shows that are just real popular among the bowling world. With Rudy Revs, Rudy Revs, Rudy Kasamakis made a couple TV shows. Those shows were incredible to watch. Arena shows. Sean Rash winning the Masters in Milwaukee in the stadium was a great show. Bob Learn Jr., the Erie, when he set the all-time scoring record. I mean, or
televised 300s.
It doesn't have to be, in my opinion. I mean, being those shows would be great, but vintage shows, like shows that you forgot about.
Yeah.
You get to see the hair and the way they dressed. And I'm not talking the black and white era, even though that would be cool. Like, I'm talking like more of like at least the stuff I grew up in, right? Like I'm
80s.
Have you seen some of the women's stuff we have on?
The women's stuff is fun. I mean, you could get some really good shows with Tish Johnson and Liz Johnson.
It's funny how they dressed and everything.
Yeah. We used to make fun of Chris Barnes because Chris Barnes had that mullet, and you have the outfits, right? Guppy Troop and Ernie Schlegel and all these guys were entertainers. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest. The shows back then were more entertaining. The crowds back then were
yes.
And for me, what I get stuck on YouTube watching a lot that I think would make good content for a channel like yours is old World Team Challenge broadcast. There was a Brunswick World Team Challenge event that used to travel around the country and have qualifiers in different parts of the country, and then they would televise the final 3 teams, and they would bowl a stepladder, and then if you won one of those events, there was a national championship at the end of the year. And I just always find myself watching those. Because a lot of classic pros pop up. A lot of guys pop up who are now Hall of Famers.
Right.
But on those shows, they're like in their teens or 20s, and it's just interesting to see how they threw it back then. And I would also, I know you guys partnered with Darren Tang. I'm aware of. We just had him on a couple weeks ago. Yeah, and he mentioned that was one of the times that we discussed your channel on the show. And look, I think you're going down the right road. I do. I like watching content like that. Now, do I always sit and consume the whole thing with Darren Tang? No, but particularly when they're out on tour and he's doing the vlogs of how he bowled and that, I kind of like to watch that. I like to get an inside view of what's going on out there.
Right. Well, like what we tell people all the time is we have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to program. Yeah. It's a lot of time. So the more content that we can have, the more diversity of content that we can have, whether it's Darren or, old from the 80s ladies content or new college stuff, whatever it might be, that's all good stuff for the overall channel.
Yeah, and obviously I'm partial, but I'd say sweep the rack.
Hey, I got about 7 years of shows I could send. We've been doing a podcast 7 years. I like to see someone first. I gotta preface this. Someone who knows what they're talking about, because there's a lot of YouTube out there that a lot of bowlers don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But basic tips, right? Like how to do things. Like how do I lay a bowling ball out? How do I pick a ball?
How to hook the ball? How to make the ball?
Like tip. Like, and I know there's a couple of content out there that are really good, and I know ZVL Bowling is part of your channel. I know we haven't had him on yet, but I'd like to get him on. He's very knowledgeable about bowling equipment because there's too much of it these days. But also like how bowling balls are made, right? Like I don't know, like there's people that go through that are making content like some of that stuff, and there's a lot of that don't do ball review videos.
Rob, you read my mind. You read my mind there. I wanted to be the one to say that. No, the one thing you shouldn't show is ball review videos.
You don't like those?
No.
Why don't you like those? I mean, I don't know. Just honestly, why don't you like those?
All right, this is complicated. I'm going to have to give you a little bit of a complicated answer here, because in bowling, before you bowl, a machine goes down the lane and puts oil on the lane.
Right.
Okay. And where they apply the oil and how much they apply determines how hard or easy it is to hit the pocket. Right. The ball has very little to do with it. I mean, it has a decent amount to do with it, but it's not nearly as important as the skill of the bowler. And the ball review videos, a lot of them, they make it seem like every ball is the greatest ball to come out. And if you buy this ball, you're going to strike the lights out. But really what it is they set the lanes up so that they're easy and that they can easily strike repeatedly and make the ball look great. And every ball looks great. And everybody's like, oh, this is the next great ball.
Yeah, I'd say 95% of them are paid advertisements because those people doing the ball review videos are also sponsored by those companies. Yeah. And the way they get either paid or free equipment, or they actually make money from posting those videos is if they do it. And of course they're going to make the ball seem great because they have an agenda behind them by getting. So there's a few out there that ball review videos actually are not sponsored by anybody. And there's a really minority of those, a few percent. And a lot of those guys who are doing those videos are not even great bowlers themselves. So they're hitting, they have a target and they're missing their target every shot. And every shot they come back and be like, oh, I'm going to throw a better this one. And it just gets, there's a lot of them. It's just
around here. We call them patch pirates. Patch pirates around here.
Flooded with it
for them and everything. But
that's the thing is why like our show is we don't have any like agenda behind us. We're not sponsored. We literally have lost money on this thing for God knows how long. But we were honest fans and we just do it just because bowling needed an honest outlet. Like,
all right, well, that's good. That's good feedback. I appreciate that. I really like the game action idea. I really like that a lot.
I got a funny story for you, Brendan, that I don't think a lot of people know, and I'll share it. About 15 years ago, I got hit up by some AMC producers that actually wanted to do a bowling reality show. And I was in an interview 2 times. It was in 2008 where they FaceTimed me and they actually were going to start a reality show and they wanted to follow a certain amount of bowlers around for a year, set up action matches and run it as a TV show, a really reality TV show. And you know what show they put in place? An arm wrestling show. They scrapped it and they put an arm wrestling show, and our show never got even like brought to like a pilot or whatever. But I guarantee you, AMC, if you're listening to this right now, you missed out on a golden opportunity, because if they would have followed me around for bowling action matches, it would have been completely entertaining. And like,
Rob, you would have been a star, Rob.
I could have been a contender. You know?
Mike, I was under the impression he is the star.
Well, bigger star.
Bigger
star. No, there's definitely, maybe in the bowling world of the D-class celebrity status, right? You know. Yeah. So
I love the idea. I mean, listen, you know, maybe we could do something together. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mike's got all the connections.
We're gonna get you out of here because we took up too much of your time already, and we appreciate you being so generous with your time with us. You know, give our people a rundown. Like, where should they be going to access your channel?
Yeah, sure. So the best place to go if you want sort of to see where we are is go to our website, watchbowling.tv. Okay. There you can watch the channel, and there's you can click on one of the buttons to see all the platforms that we're on. But in addition, I'll tell you, so we're on Amazon Prime Video. So, you know, a ton of people have Prime Video. It's on the live channels tab. If you go to the top of the menu, there's a live channels tab, and just click on Bowling TV. Prime Video LG channels. So that's if you have an LG television set, Zumo Play, Dish, Sling, Plex, Free Live Sports, and then also if you have a Roku device, you can download our app, our Bowling TV app, and you can watch the channel there as well. We have about 4 more places that you're going to be able to watch the channel coming up in the next few months that I can't say who it is right now, but I'll let you guys know. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot of places you can watch now, and we're doing really, really well on distribution. People are really gravitating toward the channel. So we expect by the end of the year that it'll be available on most free ad-supported platforms. And so, yeah, we'll let you know as our viewership and our distribution grows. We'll keep you guys apprised. But the starting point for everyone should be watchbowling.tv.
Okay, watchbowling.tv. And listen, we hope things grow. We hope things continue to grow for you guys. Like we said, Rob and I love bowling and we love the game. We do this because we love the game. And we would love for nothing more than to see bowling get a little bit more shine, and grow. So we hope you guys are successful in what you're doing, and we'll look to keep in touch. And feel free to reach out and let us know about any developments that you want to get out there to the bowling community. You don't have to come on and give us 50 minutes every time. You just shoot us an email, and we'll help you get word out.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys for having me on. This has been a lot of fun, and I learned a few things. So I already wrote down action matches, and so we're good.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, I got to say, people steal ideas from us all the time. At least this time I'm getting a little bit of credit for it. I like it. I'm with it.
It's on the record that you gave us the idea.
That's all he wants, man.
No doubt. Listen, thank you again for joining us. Thank you for the time, and we'll be following you guys.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it,
Brandon. Bye.
Take care.
So good interview, Rob. Really interesting to me to hear how they were viewing the things going on in the business that they were in. Right, makes total sense to me. They're working for ESPN in the production end and the TV end. They see the change going on, where people are getting away from regular TV, and they decide to start this production company that's going to provide passionate fan bases with a chance to consume more content related to their sport. It makes sense.
Yeah, and golf. Look, golf has its own channel where you could watch golf 24/7, obviously, and they're on those paid channels you need from a cable service. This specifically is free. It's free for everybody, and you just have to obviously go through some ads. It's like kind of what we do in a sense, right? Like, we're free. You might have to sit through some ads watching this YouTube video if you don't pay for YouTube, but we people who are hosting need to also make money too, right? But I really think that they need to get the word out, and I think that's going to be the important part of this channel. And I think that's why he's coming on the show, and he's trying to put the word out, because hey, I mean, we have a decent following. People who listen to our debauchery will definitely want to tune in for a bowling channel, right? So hey, imagine you coming home, and I'm just saying it's 2 a.m. You're coming home from the bar. You kind of had a few drinks. You've been out. You sit down, and all of a sudden, the Bob Learn Erie show is sitting there in front of you, and you're watching. And you're all with your bowling friends, and you're all sitting there and having a good time watching. It's a great idea, and it's glad to hear. I'm happy to hear that there's so far a lot of positive feedback, and there's interested sponsors too, and that's really good to hear. I mean, it shows to me maybe bowling is on the upswing with the Born to Bowl documentary, which we didn't have time. I wanted to bring that up, talk to him about that, and see if there was any coincidence that kind of got released in the same almost times, right? But
yeah, I wanted to talk about how I always wanted to do a bowling movie.
You got to keep all the ideas to yourself,
I've always I got to give a shout to one of my OG bowling buddies, Jay Rapp, from back in the day. He was like the pro shop assistant at T-Bird where I grew up, and yeah, me and him spent a lot of hours in the shop, like resurfacing balls and just doing different things during the day when we were hanging out, and we had so many crazy ideas for a bowling movie. And this was before Kingpin, too, to be clear. And so many crazy ideas. But the biggest scene was a scene where it would be a full house for Lig, and a guy goes up and throws one, and he slaps it out, and then the next guy slaps it out in an even better way, and like a huge slap out competition breaks out in the bowling center. It's a crowded league. And guys are doing flips and splits and slapping them out and just going crazy. That was one of our big scenes, I remember. So
that reminds me of like a Key and Peele skit or something.
No doubt. We were probably me and Jay were probably a little bit ahead of our time with some of the stuff that we were coming up with in the pro shop back in the day. But I mean, nonetheless, I feel like this is an outlet for things like that.
Yeah, and I didn't get to bring a chance to bring up the High Roller, right? If the High Roller was streamed, back in the day when I was bowling and you were in the late 90s and early 2000s. And I mean, there was so many, I mean, that was just squads of action matches, right? Because you were putting up 1250 at one time to bowl, 100,000 for first. I think there was one high roller that may have paid 200,000. But I mean, yeah, like those were action matches all across the house, and you had East Coast, we're in West Coast, Texas against New York. You were bowling maybe the guy you bowled in league at one point, like teammates. You know, you could have bowled your brother or your mother if you were entered in the same squad, right? Like there's a lot of craziness going on in the high roller. So I mean, yeah, it's cool to see, Mike, and like I do definitely support your saying. Like we really hope this gets to the point where it becomes another outlet, but for things that we normally would have never seen in the bowling world. You know, like action matches, tournaments, maybe that you're like, man, like this could be a pretty cool show. Content, right? Behind the scenes things. Like there's a lot of opportunity, and I'm glad to see it started and it's kind of off the ground.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Rob, we're gonna wrap it up. Enjoy the rest of your break. For all of our folks listening to this, we'll be back in a few weeks. We might drop one or two things while we're away, so we'll see. But yeah, keep up with us. If you want to reach out to us, sweettherack@gmail.com, and like and subscribe.
This is only going on YouTube, by the way. So I'm not putting this on audio. I'm not putting this on Facebook. This is on YouTube only.
Like and subscribe. You heard.
I will post this on our Facebook channel, but in order to get to it, you're gonna have to click audio. If you want to listen to it, you're gonna have to listen to it to YouTube. Sometimes we need to support our YouTube channel a little more than the rest of our platforms. Just how it goes in the media world. I'm a media expert now too, Mike. Maybe one day I could be like Brendan Canning, you know, and I could own my own media company and, you know, sweep the rack. You know, that's what we would call it.
No doubt. All right, Rob, take it easy.
Later.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.